Guten Tag.
We keep going.
And yeah, good talk means hello in German. And welcome to Honey Homeboys. And this is our great mate Aaron Clark. And we've been wanting to do him the last few months, and
Yeah.
right time to do it.
Well, before he starts back school in 6 days. So it's perfect time to do it. This is episode number 12 or 13?
I say 13 to 14.
14,
We done a lot this summer, so sometimes it's hard to keep up. But hey, 13 or 14, there we go.
Yeah. So, Aaron, tell everyone about yourself if they don't already know you.
All right, good day, mates. Good to have you. Thanks for having me here from Australia, mates.
Keep
I'm-
talking, man.
I had to speak with my Australian accent because I am also AC, so
You are, yeah.
it's good to have another AC in the house. So,
Yeah.
and thanks for having me, both you guys.
You're
So,
welcome, man.
yeah, so I'm a teacher. That's where I met you guys first when
2011, you were a computer
MES.
teacher.
I was a computer teacher at MES in 2011. So that's what I do. And I like to, talk to kids, build up kids, be around kids, and
Educate them.
make them feel special and
Feel
things
at
like
home,
that.
yeah.
So yeah, that's what I do. I don't know what else you guys want me to say,
You've been working in the high school for 5 years, and he's joined German.
Yeah.
last
He's a
year.
new German teacher since last year.
Yeah, I started teaching German last year. That's been fun. I've taught at the high school I worked at the high school pretty much since 2011, off and on.
Well,
so.
2017, you worked at the high school full time.
Right, yeah, 2017 full time at the high
That's
school,
right.
so it's a good place, and get to see a lot of kids, so that's good.
A lot of
Yeah.
students, yeah, it's true.
Oh, yeah.
Alright.
What's your next question?
Yeah, so when did you meet Courtney, and what did you think of Courtney
Oh wow, good question.
when you first met her in the 90s?
And she'll probably correct you.
Yeah, she's got a much better memory than me. That's she's my memory. That's why I told someone on the phone today. Courtney's my memory because
Okay.
I don't remember anything, and you guys both know that. You don't remember anything, do you, AC?
I remember a lot.
You remember a little bit,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So maybe AC's your memory, AJ. I don't know, but a little
Uh,
bit. You got
yeah,
a
but I have a good memory, but
Yeah.
he always, if I'm
right
wrong,
on.
he'll always correct.
Yeah, even on live, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
But so we met. We actually had the same PE class, and so first time I remember meeting her was on the track in PE, and I was a little bit older than her. I remember talking to one of my friends saying like, "Hey, that's, I like that girl right there. I want to find out more who she is. I didn't know her," and we ended up having mutual friends, and that was in 1997.
Wow.
So our first date was in 1997.
And who was your PE teacher in 97?
I remember hers was Coach Prevalet.
Yeah, Jim.
And I want to say mine was probably Coach Hossman.
Yeah.
It could have been Coach Glass.
I had Coach Hossman while in year 11.
Yeah. So one of those two for sure.
Yeah. Did Coach Hoss say, "Hey, you animals, let's lock in"?
He probably did. Yes, he probably did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys had to so was it like how it is now where you might occasionally do something together, but usually you were off doing on separate things?
Yeah, I think it was. I think it just so happened we were out on the track, so we were both outside.
Oh, okay.
So, on track days, everybody went outside and, walked or ran the track to get your miles in or something in.
Right.
So, just fate would have it. God put us in each other's paths at an early age. And I think there's a story like we maybe ran across paths multiple times before that, but that was the first time that we both remember. So.
Yeah,
Right.
it's great.
All right. So how is a failure or apparent failure set up for later success in life? And do you have a favorite failure?
Failure, that's something we don't like to talk about. Of course, we all do it. Nobody's perfect. In my job as teachers, that's kind of one thing I like to teach the kids is, hey, when you fail, it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to show my kids that in class, like, hey, you're that's when you learn, like, from your failures.
Right.
And so I try to embrace those teaching because I fail every day as a teacher. I'll say something wrong or not know the right answer, or maybe not playing the right way or things. But the biggest failure I had was, well, there's a lot, but I went to college right after high school, and just like normal people, some do, some don't. But I didn't graduate. It was like in 2004 I decided college wasn't for me anymore after 5 years of college, and I went to go work full time. And so I kind of failed college, and kind of let myself down, my family down. But I learned so many new people and met new people, learned a lot of new things. But the coolest thing was, I probably wouldn't be a teacher today if I wouldn't have failed at that, because I wasn't going to be a teacher at the beginning. I was going into like business and finance, and God knew that it wasn't for me. I didn't know it at the time, and it was meant to happen because I got to meet you guys and a lot of kids
and
like you,
hundreds of others.
Yeah, and
many thousands.
Exactly. So it was meant to be, and I don't ever like harping on the past. I like learning from the past and moving forward, and definitely, would I like to graduate college on time and maybe retire 5 years earlier or whatever, maybe, but it was meant to be, and so that failure of me essentially not doing good in my finance courses at SIU, and then end up dropping out of college, it kind of forced me to kind of refocus life and realize what was important to me, and so I decided to be a teacher years later. So.
Yeah, it's great. So what jobs did you do before you started working from the Massac E1 district in 2010? Because I remember you telling me years ago that before you worked at MES in 2011, you actually worked as an aide, and you worked as a teacher aide in Brookport in 2010.
Yeah, so I had a lot of jobs before I was a teacher in 2010. So I graduated with my teaching degree in May of 2010. And at that time, I was working at the casino full time. And then they called, and I did a long-term sub position at junior high because I was working midnights and I was working days subbing at the junior high. And then that summer, I was a teacher's aide for summer school. And then right after that, I started at Brookport in August.
Yeah.
But I worked at the casino for 6 years. Before that, I worked at a place called Sears, which is now where Ross, Dress for Less, and Burlington are. I worked there selling computers and TVs and stuff. That's kind of where my technology kind of got, the spark kind of got ignited to be around technology. Personal computers were booming back then, so Sears sold them. So I worked there. I worked a few jobs here in Metropolis when I was 15. I worked at Ponderosa. Have you ever heard of Ponderosa?
Yeah,
I have.
Yeah.
It's a blast from the past.
Yeah, it is a blast from the past. A lot of people from Metropolis worked at Ponderosa. I washed dishes when I was 15.
Yeah, I went there. I went to that restaurant in 2012.
Okay, in Metropolis or somewhere else?
Metropolis. They had like fried chicken.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And that was the best fried chicken at the time.
But it's a buffet, so you probably don't like buffets.
I did.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay, you do like buffets.
Yeah.
The coolest thing I remember about working there was it was during the movie U.S. Marshals. They were filming it.
Yeah.
Was it the first one or the second one? I don't remember.
It was
a sequel to The Fugitives.
Yeah, sequel to The Fugitive. They filmed it in Metropolis. I remember the filming crew came in, and I think we like closed half the restaurant down for them, and that was kind of a big deal. I don't remember the Wesley Snipes and Tommy Lee Jones coming in that night, but I remember
J.D. come in.
No, I don't remember seeing him either, but I remember like it was a big deal. So that's my favorite memory from working at Ponderosa.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jamie Mizell was probably, and Jimmy Favela had a cameo in that movie, and some other Metropolis people.
I'm trying to think, someone else had a cameo.
Keith Shelton definitely.
Yeah, he did. Oh yeah,
Mr. Shelton.
I think I took a picture while I'm watching. I said, "Oh, I think that's him."
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah. So where were you at summer school at in 2010? Like what?
So summer school in 2010 was in Miss V's room.
Oh,
at MES.
okay.
Yeah, you remember Miss V, right?
Yes, absolutely. One of my besides you, obviously, she was one of my favorite former teachers. And
besides me, thanks, Stacey. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. That's nice.
Yes.
Yeah, she's a very nice person.
Yeah.
Still is.
Yeah. Unfortunately, she works at Cape now, like in Anna now.
Right.
Yeah. So were you the teacher, or were you an aide at that room? And
I was just an aide that summer.
was Miss V there that summer, or who just?
No, Miss V was not there. I believe there were 2 or 3 adults, but I remember Miss Ward was one of them.
Kelly Ward.
Mhm.
Lori Gray, was she one of the helpers too?
I can't remember who else was there. I remember, but anyways, they wanted me to work with Mrs. Ward that summer to learn more about what to expect coming into August in my new job. So
Yeah, you worked with Kelly in at Brookport in 2010.
I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah. All right. So, what is your greatest challenge as a teacher?
I think greatest challenge, that's a really good question, but just realizing that the kids that you're sitting there in your room are the future, and you don't want to let them down. You know, like they'll ask you a question and they ask you because they want to know the answer, because they're learning. Their minds are being formed into who they're going to be for the rest of their lives. And so to me, the biggest challenge is just to make sure that you're kind of hitting each one of those kids' needs to be able to learn what they need to learn. And you know, not every kid's going to learn everything that you teach, no matter what you teach. So you know, just to make sure that that kid gets something that he needs or she needs to become a way like a better human being. I mean,
especially at a younger age, elementary age, but even junior high, high school. Too.
Yeah, I mean, because you know they have to be there, obviously, so that's kind of tough. But you know, they do want to hear from us as adults, and maybe they don't say it sometimes. And you know, to me, that's a challenge to make sure that I'm meeting those needs of all those kids. And a lot of times it's not just about the academics; it's just about, you know, something they're going through emotionally or just, you know, at home or something like that. You know, and some of the kids are good about telling you those things. Some of them aren't, and you know, you might have a kid that's acting kind of bad, and you know, it might get on your nerves a little bit, but you don't know what they're dealing with at home. So if you can show enough emotion or compassion, or you know, to that kid,
or empathy.
Yeah, empathy. Good word there. To let them know that you're there for them. You know, I think that's a good challenge. But if I can let them know, hey, then maybe they'll open up and I can help them.
Yeah, that's great. All right, Facebook. If you have any questions for Aaron Clark, write them down and they will be answered in the episode. But we have several more questions to go, but I just want to give you the heads up if you have any questions for him. So, what's the next?
What's your favorite Bible verse?
Well, I've got a lot, but I'm not good at memorizing the exact verse and the words of it, but I believe it's in Matthew where it talks about letting your light shine for others, you know, and that's something that you know, just you think of a lot daily. You know, it's like, okay, maybe am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? Well, if you're shining Jesus' light, then you're doing it the right way. So that's the Bible verse I think of probably the most. So I would say that's probably my favorite. A good question.
Yeah. All right. So, what is one of the best or most worthwhile investments you've ever made? And it could be an investment of money, time, or energy.
Well, I mean, the easy thing to say is education as a teacher. You know, college is hard. You know that obviously. Sometimes you think it's impossible. So that's an easy answer so I'm not going to say that, but that's a really good investment. But you know, I love my technology. I think the robot vacuum has been amazing.
Roomba?
Yeah, like Roombas and stuff like that. You don't have to vacuum. You just wake up, hit the button, and it vacuums.
We have one down here,
amazing. But probably the investment that changed me the most, because your question was what investment was
most worthwhile.
Most worthwhile, I would probably say my passport. Before I had a passport, you know, where I could go was kind of in this box of the United States. And once you get this piece of paper for $130 at the post office, it now says you can go pretty much anywhere. And that's really, I mean, it sounds kind of weird, but it just kind of feels freeing to be able to say, oh, I can go there, I want to go there, and I'm going to go there. So to me, getting my passport just kind of was really worthwhile.
Okay. Looks like we maybe received a couple of questions. So
okay, cool.
Look over them. If not, they might just be comments. But either way, we appreciate them. Okay, what's the favorite place you've traveled to?
Ooh, favorite place I've traveled other than the Heine Lair. Does the Heine Lair count?
That's outside of the.
Outside of the Heine Lair. Okay. Probably. I mean, Germany's an easy answer because we just went there this summer. But the place I want to go back to the most that I've traveled so far is definitely Scotland.
Okay.
It's pretty cool because both in the literal term and the figurative term. You know, it's cloudy and it's overcast, and the Highlands just look so neat. It's like mountains without trees, and the castles and all the history, and they speak English, so you can kind of navigate on your own a little bit easier. So
that's great.
Scotland's definitely a place I want to go back, and probably my favorite so far.
That's great. Yeah. You went in summer of 2019.
Yes, summer of 2019, correct.
Yeah. So what is one place? Was a follow-up question that they had. What is one place you haven't traveled to yet, but you want to the most?
Well, Japan, obviously. We talked about that a little bit. We're actually going there this summer, a year from now. But I really want to go to Australia. Go to your home country, AC.
Yeah.
Where you're from?
My dream country.
Your dream country. Is it Wiggle World or Wiggle Land or Wiggles? How do you say it?
Wiggle World.
Wiggle. I would really like to see Wiggle World because supposedly it exists. And I don't know.
Well, seriously, the Wiggles do have a Hotel Studios. And
Yeah.
They have a really big studio over there. They've had the Wiggles have had that studio since 2007 though.
Yeah, so think about that. If you're a country that says we embrace the Wiggles and we will build a theme park and a studio for the Wiggles, why would you not want to go there?
They actually started doing Dream World like in 2005, believe it or not.
Yeah. So
The Energy Wiggles did.
and so Australia looks just pretty neat.
Yeah, and they have a Slim Dusty museum, which Slim Dusty's a country music singer.
See, come on. I mean,
That's
we've
true.
already got our itinerary planned out. So
Yeah.
let's
There you
go.
go.
Yeah, that's like 2-3 years or 4 years away.
Okay,
Maybe.
sounds good.
And what's your next question?
Okay, so you said you went to college at SIU, but where'd you go to college at?
Well, that's a good question. I started at Shawnee Community College, like most people from Massac have
Yeah.
done in the past.
In present.
And present, yeah. I feel like West Kentucky Tech is kind of taken over, but Shawnee College is good too. I also went to West Kentucky Community Technical College. I had a class there. Took a lot of classes at SIU,
Okay.
and I got both of my degrees from Murray State University.
That's great.
And then for German, my German classes, I took all those online at Oregon State University.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you told me about that.
Go Beavs. The Beavers.
Yeah.
Go Beavers.
Yeah.
So you went to school in Oregon without ever stepping foot in Oregon.
Yeah, I know. I need to visit. Yeah, I need to visit there.
Yeah.
So that's on my bucket list of states to visit for Oregon.
Yeah.
Corvallis, Oregon is where I'd like to visit. At least to drive through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just came up with this. So how many U.S. states have you been to?
Oh, that's a good question. I have a map, and I haven't been to very many, but
Okay.
But I use one of those apps track. I would say I've been to maybe 15 states or so. So you guys have probably been to more than I have.
Probably about the same, really.
Okay. I haven't really been west any, like Nevada, but I haven't been like I've never been in the car west, so I'm missing like pretty much the whole west.
Hey, you should. Yeah, but you could always go to West, and because you can always go to West in the next few decades, because
Yeah, I'd like to.
you're in your 40s now, obviously, and you just go there. You just go there in the next 5, 10, 15 years, because you have till 100 to explore all of that.
Okay, are you offering to take me with you?
Yeah,
Maybe. Okay.
possibly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've documented that AC invited me to go west with him.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah.
it's great.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, in the last 5 years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has most improved your life?
Wow, last 5 years. Man, that's a good one. I mean, I recently started traveling in the last 5 years. Like before, because 2019, you said is when I went to Europe.
To Scotland.
Scotland, yeah.
In Europe.
So, yeah, so I would say that in the last 5 years I started traveling a lot more.
Internationally with the school.
Definitely internationally, and then like I went to Houston and go to Chicago a lot more in the last few years. So I would say probably that, just traveling more because it's just fun. Like, of course, my favorite thing to do when I travel is to check out the cool restaurants and eat their good food. And I think that's part of the culture of a place you go, whether it's a different country or a different city, is to
Oh yeah, what do you do?
to partake of their food, and just to see the people and see how they live, and whether it's in Chicago versus Metropolis or it's United States versus
Australia, New Zealand,
Australia, New Zealand,
or
yeah.
Canada. Whatever.
Exactly, yeah. So it's neat to see how different people
Yeah.
live, and just so I would say traveling more.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks like we've maybe received another question. Let's
Uh-oh.
see. All right. Says, okay, so now the kind of a question. It says, the records of Cubs versus Cardinals in the playoffs. So what is the
Oh,
record.
well, I wouldn't know that. I don't know. I know the Cardinals have 11 World Series, but only 3 in my lifetime. I know the Cubs have only won 1 in 114 years. So that's all I can say.
That's all I can say. Yeah.
They-
There you go.
they won
That's works with me. All right.
Yeah, the Cubs won the World Series in 2016.
That was a dark day. But
Yeah.
I do know that the Cardinals swept the Cubs this week. So
Yeah.
That's true.
but I think the Cubs are okay with it. I think they wanted us this week, so that's good.
Yeah.
No hard feelings.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not trying to win much anyway.
No, they're not. Yeah.
They just gave up on themselves.
Yeah, they sell away their good players, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. All right. So, what are some bad recommendations you hear in your profession or area of expertise?
Ooh, bad recommendations. I think you hear a lot, like about kids. It's just like, maybe they don't care, or maybe they don't, or this will never work, or why even try? You hear things like that. And I think I kind of hit on this earlier, but these kids struggle. I mean, maybe they have a bad home life, or maybe they have a diagnosis that nobody's found yet, or maybe they're just dealing with being a teenager or being a high schooler. So that's bad advice, is just assuming things about kids.
Labeling them? Or...
Yeah, labeling them, or just assuming they can't do things. Give them a shot. Like, give kids a shot. So yeah, I think you hear that a lot in education. It's like, labeling kids, or assuming a group of kids. Let's say you have a class of like 30, 35 kids. Are like, well, I would like to do this lesson, but it's just too big. Well, no, it's not. Like, try it. Like, let kids learn, and let them have fun, and along the way. I think so. You gotta kind of ignore some of those I wouldn't say recommendations, but like advice of the same.
Yeah.
You know.
Same thing.
Yeah. So, what purchase of $100 or less has most positively impacted your life in the last 6 months or in recent memory?
That's 6 months. That's a good question. I really like to buy shoes, but they don't really impact me because I've always had shoes.
And of course, the passport's more than $100.
Yeah, the passport's 130, so that doesn't count. That's been more than 6 months ago.
Could be recent memory too. 6
Yeah.
months.
And I already said the robot vacuum too was really good. That was more than 100. It's a really good question. I really don't like to buy a whole lot of things. But I'm sure they bought something. I mean, probably something on Amazon that I didn't know existed that is like, I don't know, I can't think of anything. I don't know. I've got this cool, and it's probably more than 6 months ago, but a charger in my car where it charges my phone and I can see it at the same time. I thought, what did I do before this? Like, did I plug my phone in and lay it down somewhere? I don't know.
Right.
But like I've got the map up on my phone and it's charging at the same time wirelessly, and I was like, who thought of that? Like,
Right.
that's kind of a boring answer, but that's something I can think of.
Okay. Yeah. It looks like we maybe received another question. Let's see. Okay. What is your favorite local restaurant?
Ooh, so local. I wonder if we go Metropolis or we go Paducah, P-Town. What do you?
Maybe both.
Do both.
One of
maybe.
each.
All right. So I'm boring with eating. I normally eat the same foods every day at home, but probably it's just too easy to say Fat Ed's, but I gotta say Fat Ed just because you can get so many different things. You can get a grilled chicken, or you can get a burger or fries, so you can mix it up every time and still go. But in Paducah, I really like pizza by the pound pizza. That's one of my favorite pizzas around anywhere, or not just around, but anywhere. So pizza by the pound is my P-Town.
Yeah,
I haven't been there in a while.
I haven't been there in about 5 years, like 6 to 8 years.
It's really it's like a hole in the wall diners, drive-ins and dives type, like a dive type place.
Oh yeah.
So it's not nothing fancy, but to me they have the best pizza. So I would say
Right.
P-Town
Yeah.
pizza by the pound.
Yeah.
Good question. Huh?
Yeah.
So, are there any quotes you think of often or you live your life by?
Yeah, well, I mentioned a couple already. Like let your light shine, let Jesus' light shine through you. So it's like when you're doing something, like, are you shining His light? So like, obviously when you're going to make a decision, you probably need to pray about it. But ask yourself, is this the right thing? And you're saying, is it shining His light? So
Yeah.
now think about that a lot. I guess another quote. I don't know. I mean, it's just a silly thing with the bracelets on WWJD. What would Jesus do? It's kind of the same thing.
Okay.
You ask yourself like, hey, this is a tough situation. It's not good. I've got two choices here, and obviously pray about it. But what would Jesus do in this situation? Like, would He be nice to this person? Yeah, He'd be nice, and not the nice route, the mean route, whatever it is. Like,
Right.
so choose kindness type thing. Like,
Yeah.
I would say something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So, what fact about you would surprise many of your acquaintances?
Wow. Well, probably that I have 7 cats that live in my house.
Wow.
7 cats live in my house. Yeah. So
Did you get a new one? I thought it was 6.
no, we lost one maybe about a year or 2 ago. But
Okay.
yeah,
But what's your
we used
heart?
to have 8.
Okay.
And so that'd probably be a fact a lot of people don't know about me. Is that, and I wouldn't say I'm a cat person, but definitely Mrs. Courtney.
The
she's-
Courtney,
yeah.
Mrs. Burns is.
I know that Courtney Burns has been a cat person forever.
Yeah, but they're all fun. They're part of the family.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have it any other way. So.
Yeah. When you and Courtney are gone, who takes care of the cats?
Well, cats are pretty easy to take care of. I mean, they pretty much they got their food bowl and their water bowl. They're pretty good.
Run around.
Yeah, run around. You got clean out their litter box. Keaton usually does, and if he's gone, we'll just recruit a family member to do it.
Like Ashley and Avery,
Yeah.
or your Ashley or Scott, or even your parents.
Yeah, whoever will volunteer to scoop cat
Yeah.
poop, we'll take them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who inspires you the most?
Well, I mean, my faith, obviously, just Jesus, obviously, but probably a better answer than that would be my grandpa who passed away, like, probably 20 years ago, roughly, give or take a little bit.
Okay.
He was my mom's dad. His name was L.C. Pope.
Okay.
And I always heard people say, oh, he's such a good man. And I kept on thinking, I've never heard anybody say anything bad about this man. Like, I want to be more like him when I grow up. And he would pick us up and take us to church all the time on Wednesday nights, or if there was a special going on another random night. And he was just had a really huge heart and super nice guy. And I just remember it even before I knew what it even meant, I was like, I want to be like this guy. And it was my grandpa. So
Yeah.
he inspires me. I think about him all the time.
He took you to Waldo.
Waldo Baptist Church. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.